Hello, my name is Becky Bertram, and today I'd like to give you an overview of the kind of items you'll see in the ribbon used in SharePoint 2010 publishing sites. The first thing I'll show you is this breadcrumb. This breadcrumb is actually a hierarchical breadcrumb that will let you know where you are in the site. It will actually show you how deep you are in the site and allow you to click up through the various layers of the site. If you can't see the ribbon, click on the Site Actions menu and select Show Ribbon from the menu. What you'll see now are various tabs. We have the Browse tab, the Page tab, and the Publish tab. The first thing you'll notice is this little icon here. If you're editing the page, it will turn into a Save button, as you can see. What this will do is take you initially to the Page tab. Let's go over the items on the Page tab in the ribbon. To start from the left, you'll see we have the Save icon where you can save your changes, or you can save it and keep editing, or you can stop editing. The Check-in icon allows you to check your changes in or discard the changes so that it will not be checked out anymore. The Edit Properties button will allow you to view the properties of the page. It will also allow you to edit those properties as well. The Email Link button will simply open up your default email client and have a message already in there with a link to the page that you're currently on. The Alert Me function also works similar to the way it did in SharePoint 2007. You can set an alert on the page which will alert you when the page is changed, or any number of settings. You also have the Manage My Alerts button, which will also allow you to manage essentially all your alerts on the site. The Preview button will give you an idea of what this page would look like once published. As you can see, this is what the page would look like with the changes that you are currently editing. You can change the layout of the page by clicking the Page Layout button. As you can see, there are various options. Let's look at the image on left. Alright, as we can see, we have some different regions on the page now. Moving on, we have some additional buttons which are new to SharePoint 2010, which hopefully will make life significantly easier for most of us content editors. The first button I'd like to point out is this Make Homepage button. In SharePoint 2007, it was necessary to set the home page for a particular subsite by going to the Site Settings page. This was difficult because not all content authors had permission to view the Site Settings page. Having this button in the ribbon now makes it easier in the sense that when you click the Make Homepage button, this page will now become the default page when someone navigates to this particular subsite. Again, keep in mind this Make Homepage button does not refer to a homepage for the entire website. However, it is simply making a page the homepage for a particular subsite. The second button is called Incoming Links. This button will actually take you to a page that will show you all the pages that are referencing the current page. There is a reason why this is important in SharePoint. Because SharePoint has a publishing process, it's possible that one page could be published while another page is still waiting in approval or is in an unpublished state. The same could happen with images. You could have a page that gets published and is live on the site, but the image itself is not published. SharePoint is smart enough that when a page goes live, if an image is not published, it won't display a big red X. However, it will just simply not display the image. In the same way, if you have linked to another page in SharePoint and that page has not been published yet, SharePoint will simply not display the hyperlink. This is helpful behavior in the sense that it will never produce broken links or big red X's on your page. However, this can cause a problem. For instance, if you created text that said, "Click here to learn more," but the other "Click here" page was not published yet, SharePoint would not display a link. It would look kind of funny to have a sentence on your site that said "Click here" that was not actually hyperlinked. This is why this incoming links page is helpful. It can let you know if there are 3 pages that were referencing this page, but you decided to expire this page so it was no longer on the site, then you know which pages are referencing it and possibly need to be examined to see if they have links that also need to be updated. The draft check button will let you know if there are items on the page which have not been published. For instance, we can see here that the AdventureWorks logo, the Give Feedback button, and the Press Releases page are all in an unpublished state. This shows us that these are items which may not appear live on the site as we're seeing now in the unpublished state. So we need to make sure that all these other assets are also in a published state before the site goes live. We also have this Page Permissions button, which is new for SharePoint 2010. Clicking on this button will show you exactly the permissions that are set for this particular page. In this case, you can see that we're inheriting the permissions from the list, the pages library that this page belongs to. If we clicked on the Manage Parent button, this would actually take us to the permission tool for the list itself. This is the equivalent of the library permissions page, which is what we were looking at before. The version difference page also gives us the ability to compare different versions of the page. For instance, right now you can see that there have been 3 published versions of the page, indicated by the whole number, and 1 draft version of the page. Right now I'm looking at version 3.1 and I'm looking at the changes compared with version 3.0. However, I could also compare version 3.1 with version 1.0. In addition, I could click down on version 2.0 and compare the changes with version 1.0. As we can see here, the title AdventureWorks was added to the name of the page. So again, I have this nice ability to navigate between versions of the page and whatever version I'm on to compare it with the previous version. Finally, if I would like to view the library settings page, I can click on the library settings button, and this takes me to a page where I can manage virtually all the settings for the library itself. The next page I want to show you is the Publish page. This is where you can submit a page for approval. If I click the Submit button, I'm actually going to kick off an approval process. As you can see here, I have an approval form that I can fill out. This will send a message to people in the approvers group, letting them know that a page is available for approval. As you can see, I have a message on my page that now says the page is waiting for approval. The last thing I want to show you here is I can actually set the schedule of the page. I can schedule the page to be published immediately. I can also specify a day in which the page should go live. I can specify an end date, the default of which is never, or I can specify for the page to expire on a specific day. If the page never expires, I actually can send a message to the person who is the contact person for the page, and this will actually ask them to review the content. So whereas the page will never expire by default, this will send a message notifying the page owner to review the contents every particular interval, whether this is every year, every month, etc. In addition, if I am expiring the page, I can ask the page contact to review the page a specific duration beforehand. For instance, please review the page 5 days before it is set to expire. I hope this has been a helpful overview of the ribbon and SharePoint 2010 publishing sites. If you would like to find more of these videos, you can view them at my website found at www.beckybertram.com.